Yeah, I know I haven't done Raw reviews for the last couple weeks, but that's because I haven't really had time to do so. But anyway, I will get started with this week's review with this. Yeah, I know that wasn't Scott Steiner, but when Raw kicked off and you hear the ambulance coming into the arena down in Kansas City, it's like that's the first thing I thought of was Scott Steiner and that siren music. But anyway, we get Ryback, and again, tell me why he's a heel. He gets out, he gets on top of the ambulance, and normally this would be reserved for somebody like a Stone Cold Steve Austin or Kurt Angle when he drove the milk truck back in 2001. That was epic shit. But this, yeah, I guess there's going to be an ambulance match between Ryback and Cena at Payback coming up in June. But this promo is just like, God, what did he do? Take a class in Cheap Heat 101? I mean, yeah, this is a short and to the point promo, and just hyping up the match, but it's like, oh man, I'm still sticking to the point that a Ryback heel turn is stupid. Alright, the first match was a tag team match, Miz and Jericho against Barrett and Fandango. I thought that was funny, and Fandango leaves in the middle of the match to go dance with Summer Rae. Oh, if I'd have been stuck in this match, I probably would have done the same damn thing. God, look at Summer Rae. Holy shit, she's hot. But, God, Barrett's got new ring music. Why? This is stupid, too. I liked his old music, personally. I mean, the last music he had, I thought that was pretty good. But anyway, Barrett ends up doing the job to the figure four of the Miz. I guess maybe Fandango and Barrett are going to have a match or something sometime, maybe, and then maybe Miz will be thrown into the mix. Maybe it'll be a triple threat for the IC title. Who the hell knows? But this match wasn't that great. And speaking of heat, how about Vicky Guerrero? All she has to do is say excuse me and she gets booed out of the fucking building. And the only reason she was out there is to announce a match that's going to be that you can vote on the WWE app. I mean, the last couple of weeks, they've really shoved us down your throat, up your ass, and every other which way you can think of. But evidently, you get the choices from Great Khali, R-Truth, and Randy Orton. Are you serious? Alright, next was Sheamus against Titus O'Neil. At least this had some kind of a build-up. I mean, they had a little altercation during the post-game show of Extreme Rules, but didn't care for this match because I don't give a shit about Sheamus. I may have at one time, but he really bores me to death. And Titus O'Neil definitely deserves better than eating a bro kick from Sheamus. Sheamus wins. This sucks. So your 1 hour main event segment is the revealing of Paul Heyman's third client. And if you're thinking of it as Rob Van Dam, well, you'd have been sadly mistaken. It was Michael McGillicuddy. Or should I say, Curtis Axel! I kind of like this, actually. I mean, to me, this is pretty unexpected. I mean, the way Curtis Axel had been packaged originally as Michael McGillicuddy, it was kind of shit. And at least finally they've paid homage to his grandpa, Larry the Axe Hennig, and his father, the late great Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig. So, I kind of like what they're doing with Joe Hennig now. I mean, he's got Paul Heyman behind him, and I think what they're going to do with them, hopefully, is that they might just put him right in the upper mid card right off the bat, kind of what they did with Ryback when they first brought him in. And what do you know? We get a segment of God. Ugh. You know, it didn't take too long for Gunn himself to lay the hand down on Curtis Axel. Now, did it? Well, basically, what this is setting up is it's gonna be the main event. Triple H against Curtis Axel. Oh, speaking of matches I didn't give a shit about, Alberto Del Rio against Big E Langston, and wow. Oh, Del Rio, your number one contender for the World Heavyweight Championship, he gets beat by Big E Langston in the big ending. Wow. Since ADR was the number one contender and he lost to Big E Langston, wouldn't that now make Big E Langston the number one contender? It won't, but hey, maybe it should. Oh, your Random Divas match. AJ Lee against Layla. Actually, the banner between JBL and the King waxing nostalgic about 90s movies like Single White Female. I think that was more interesting than the match itself. Boy, Layla deserves much better than to get beat by a 14-year-old girl with an octopus hold, doesn't she? And what was the highlight of the night for me by far was the six-man match between The Shield and Hell No and Kofi Kingston. And one thing I thought was funny about this match is that Michael Cole couldn't say the word vulnerability. Here's how you say it, Michael. Vulnerability. I know it was easy for you to say, and it was really easy for me to say. But this match was really good. Shield ends up going over on Kofi, and I thought it was funny that Daniel Bryan, kind of midway through the match, he just going, "I am not the weak link of this team," and no, you're not, Daniel, and neither is Kane. There is no weak link in Team Hell No, but the Shield wins, and it was good. In what seems like the never-ending saga of trying to figure out who Caitlin's secret admirer is. You got Natalya and Caitlin in the back, and Cody Rhodes is coming up towards them on his phone. They're thinking maybe he was texting her or something. It's like, what I'm thinking that's going to happen is that they're going to take something out of pop culture, and what it's probably going to end up being is kind of like what happened to Manti Te'o with that little catfish story. And I think the Bellas are going to be behind it. And how funny is that going to be? Okay, so now we find out the results of the WWE app poll, which they kept harping on. It's like they said over 150,000 people voted on this poll. It's like, wow. When you think about how many people could potentially be in the WWE universe, as it were, it's like, that's not really that big of a... That's a very small cross-section of your audience. But, anyway, Randy Orton wins the poll with 72% of the vote. Did you think it was going to be anybody else? But I think what was really funny about it is that Khali had twice as many votes as R-Truth did. I don't know if that says more about Khali or R-Truth, but as far as the match itself goes, it wasn't that great. And Swagger failing to put the Patriot Lock on Orton properly kind of made me think back to Impact Wrestling a couple weeks ago when the Stinger was trying to get his Scorpion Deathlock onto Matt Morgan. But, yeah. Orton ends up winning with the RKO out of nowhere. Whoop-de-frickin-do. Alright, then you get to the main event. Oh, brother. It was God, against Curtis Axel, Well, earlier in the night, Curtis was struck down by the hand of God, But just this match is like, it went about 5-6 minutes at most, and half the time Triple H is acting like he's all concussed and shit from, I suppose, the after effects of what happened at Extreme Rules. And it's like, shit. it almost seemed to me like what happened to Shawn Michaels back in 1997 when in that match when he took on Owen Hart and he ended up taking an insecurity and he ended up collapsing. Like kind of like one of those events that led up to Shawn Michaels losing his smile. But as far as this goes, it's like got even at towards the end of the show, boy, King really put his foot in his mouth by suggesting that Triple H had a stroke or something. It's like, if anybody should know how serious something is, it should be Jerry the King Lawler. I mean, this is coming from a guy who had a heart attack on national television and nearly died. So I know that he apologized to Hunter about that segment after the show, but still, that's not something he should be talking lightly about, you know. But with all that being said, you didn't really think Triple H was going to put over Curtis Axel now, did you? I hope not. Oh, final thoughts about this show was this. Outside of the Shield and Hell No and Kofi match, this show pretty much sucked. For lack of a better term. It's like the only other good thing about this show was that didn't get to see John Cena. that was nice. I mean, we finally get a break from John Cena, if only for a week or so. So anyway, I want to know what you thought about this show down below in the comment section, and I'll see you later. Hopefully this show gets better, but I'm not banking on it.